AB-730 is not asking whether you memorized every Copilot button. It is asking whether you can read a business scenario and route it to the safest, most useful Microsoft 365 Copilot decision. That means the final review pattern is not a list of feature names. It is a decision loop. Source, route, eliminate, verify. Find the source the scenario gives you. Route the work to the right Copilot surface. Eliminate answers that ignore constraints. Verify anything that affects people, customers, commitments, or sensitive information. If you use that loop, the questions start to feel less random. Every mixed AB-730 scenario can be reduced to 4 questions. First, what source should ground the answer? A file, a meeting, a chat thread, a spreadsheet, an email, a web result, organizational data, or a user instruction. Second, what is the business output? A summary, a draft, a data insight, a meeting follow-up, a shared plan, an agent workflow, or a reusable prompt? Third, which Copilot surface fits that source and output? Fourth, what review boundary protects the result before someone acts on it? Do not start by asking which feature sounds familiar. Start by asking, what job is the user trying to finish, and what evidence should Copilot use? Domain 1 is the foundation layer. You need to recognize what generative AI can do, why context changes the answer when a normal chat is enough, and when an agent makes sense. A chat is good for flexible one-off reasoning. An agent is better when the organization wants a repeatable helper with defined knowledge, instructions, capabilities, or suggested prompts. But Domain 1 also tests judgment. AI can fabricate. It can overstate confidence. It can follow malicious instructions hidden in content. It can surface information the user is allowed to access but should still handle carefully. So in final review, pair capability with risk. The best answer usually does not just use AI. It uses AI with the right context, permissions, and human review. Eliminate answers that sound productive but break the safety model. Be suspicious of answers that publish AI output without checking sources, paste sensitive data into the wrong place, treat a hallucinated citation as proof, or follow instructions from an untrusted document. Also eliminate answers that create an agent for every task. If the scenario is a one-time summary, a standard Copilot chat may be enough. If the scenario describes a repeated team workflow, controlled knowledge, or a department-specific assistant, then an agent becomes more plausible. The exam is testing the difference between useful automation and unnecessary complexity. Domain 2 is where learners often overfocus on prompt wording. Good prompts matter, but AB-730 cares about the business ingredients behind the prompt. Goal, context, source, audience, constraints, and format. If the user needs a recurring weekly summary, saved or scheduled prompts may matter. If the user needs to return to prior work, conversation history or notebooks may matter. If the user needs a reusable team process, agent configuration may matter. The final review question is simple. Is this a one-off request, a repeated request, a shared request, or an agent-style workflow? Those clues decide whether the answer should emphasize prompt quality, prompt management, conversation organization, or agent setup. Eliminate prompt answers that ignore the source. A beautifully worded prompt is still the wrong answer if the scenario requires a specific meeting, file, spreadsheet, or email thread, and the prompt does not reference it. Eliminate answers that use vague requests when the task needs a defined output format. Eliminate answers that save or schedule a prompt when the task is not recurring. And eliminate answers that share private conversations or sensitive context without checking whether that is appropriate. On AB-730, prompt strategy is not magic wording. It is matching the request to the right context, repeatability, and collaboration boundary. Domain 3 is the work product layer. This is where Copilot helps draft and analyze business content across Microsoft 365. Documents, presentations, spreadsheets, email, meetings, pages, memory, and instructions. For final review, map the artifact to the workflow. A document scenario points toward Word or file grounded drafting. A presentation scenario points toward PowerPoint and slide structure. A spreadsheet trend scenario points toward Excel and data analysis. An email scenario points toward Outlook. A meeting scenario points toward Teams meeting context. A collaboration scenario may point toward Copilot pages. Do not choose an answer only because it names Copilot. Choose the answer that keeps the work grounded in the app, artifact, and business source. Domain 3 distractors often use the wrong surface. If the scenario gives a spreadsheet and asks for trend analysis, do not route it to a generic document draft. If it gives meeting decisions and owners, do not use a blank prompt with no meeting context. If it says several people need to refine an AI output together, do not leave the result buried in one person's private chat. Also watch memory and instructions. They are useful for recurring preferences, tone, structure, formatting, and style. They are not a substitute for source evidence, and they are not a safe place to store secrets just to make future prompts shorter. The best answers preserve the source, choose the app, and keep review in the loop. Practice checkpoint. A project manager has a Teams meeting recap, a shared Excel tracker, and a rough customer update that must go out tomorrow. They need a concise status update with owners, risks, and next steps. The update will be sent to a customer, so dates and commitments must be correct. What is the best first approach? A. Ask Copilot to write a generic customer update without referencing the meeting or tracker. B. Use the meeting recap and tracker as source context, draft the update in the appropriate Microsoft 365 workflow, then verify owners, dates, risks, and commitments before sending. C. Store the customer details and commitments in memory so every future draft uses them automatically. D. Create a new agent immediately, even though this is a one-time customer update. Lock in your answer. The best answer is B. The scenario gives source material, a business artifact, and a review boundary. A ignores the sources. C misuses memory for sensitive business details. D adds agent complexity when the need is a grounded draft and review. Here is a second checkpoint. A department wants a repeatable helper for onboarding new employees. It should answer questions using approved HR policy documents, suggest common onboarding prompts, and be shared with the team. Which two clues make an agent more appropriate than a normal one-off chat? A. The helper is repeatable. B. It should use approved department knowledge. C. It should ignore policy documents if the answer sounds confident. D. It should be shared without any access review. Lock in your answer. The best answers are A and B. Repeatability and approved knowledge are agent clues. The wrong answers skip governance and source grounding. Before you choose an answer, run this checklist. Source. What evidence does the scenario provide? Root. Which Copilot surface fits the artifact and workflow? Scope. Is this one-off, recurring, collaborative, orient-based? Risk. Does the output include sensitive information, external communication, compliance, commitments, dates, owners, or business decisions? Review. What must a human verify before action? If an answer fails any of those checks, it is probably a distractor. This is why AB-730 is practical. It wants business judgment, not just vocabulary. You now have the full AB-730 decision map. Use chat for flexible one-off reasoning. Use agents for repeatable workflows with configured knowledge and instructions. Use prompt management when the same request needs to be saved, scheduled, shared, or organized. Use app-grounded Copilot when the artifact matters. Use pages when AI output needs shared refinement. Use memory and instructions for preferences, not proof. And always verify the business-critical details. That is the WebLizard Cert Lab approach. No dumps, no fluff, just source-backed exam thinking. Next, turn this lesson into practice. Take mixed scenarios, identify the source, route the workflow, eliminate unsafe shortcuts, and explain why the wrong answers are wrong.